humanity, in its expanding journey beyond the solar system, has always been filled with hope and ambition to explore new worlds and establish peaceful relations with alien civilizations. However, during one of these deep space missions, a human soldier or diplomat, depending on the context of the mission, is captured by a hostile alien species after a tense confrontation in a distant part of the galaxy. The conflict begins as a misunderstanding or accident, perhaps a territorial dispute or a disagreement during a first contact situation, quickly escalating into a dangerous standoff. Despite the humans' best efforts to de-escalate the situation, they are ultimately overpowered by the alien species' technological might and brought down by their superior weaponry or force. In the blink of an eye, the human is taken prisoner, separated from their crew or diplomatic entourage, and transported to the alien species' high-security interstellar jail. This prison, located on an inhospitable and remote planet or space station, is designed to hold the galaxy's most dangerous criminals, being so feared and powerful that only the most secure of facilities can contain them. However, this specific alien species sees humanity, and Earth's inhabitants, as insignificant and primitive in comparison to the more advanced civilizations they have encountered. They fail to understand the depth of human resilience and adaptability. To them, humanity is just another primitive species, easily intimidated, and not a serious threat to their intergalactic dominance. The alien captors, knowing that Earth's technology is far behind theirs, believe that the human prisoner will submit quickly to their authority. They see the human race as one that will easily fall into fear, intimidated by their advanced technology, massive fleets, and galactic reach. The alien species, having likely encountered many civilizations before, has little regard for the idea of diplomacy or human resilience. To them, the idea that any human could pose a challenge or stand up to their might is a laughable thought. The prison, with its high-tech containment cells, powerful security systems, and alien guards, is a place that seems nearly impossible to escape from. The captors view their methods of containment as foolproof, unable to comprehend that the human in their custody may not easily break under the pressure of their sophisticated and seemingly unassailable systems. To the aliens, this high-security prison is merely a temporary holding space before their human prisoner is either broken down or used for interrogation, where they believe any human weaknesses will easily be exploited. But what the aliens fail to realize is that humanity's greatest strength lies not in technological superiority, but in its mental toughness and unwillingness to surrender. The alien species may have the advantage in technology, but they have grossly underestimated the power of the human spirit, and what will soon become their biggest mistake, underestimating humanity's will to survive. This initial capture and the aliens' view of humanity as weak and easily intimidated set the stage for a dramatic struggle where the human prisoner will face an increasingly difficult psychological battle, one that will force the alien captors to realize that humanity is far from insignificant. The alien species has made the fatal mistake of believing that their technological might alone will allow them to control the human, and that mistake will soon become their undoing. After the human soldier or diplomat is captured and imprisoned in the alien's high-security interstellar jail, the alien captors are confident that they can easily break the human spirit. The aliens, having conquered numerous worlds, are sure of their superiority, both in terms of technology and psychological manipulation. They view the human as just another primitive species that will easily submit to their authority once confronted with the vast power of their captors. To them, humans are weak, technologically inferior, and susceptible to fear, perfect candidates for psychological subjugation. The aliens begin their efforts to break the humans' resolve by employing a series of psychological tactics designed to instill fear and force cooperation. These tactics are meant to exploit the humans' fear of death, pain, or captivity, and they start by using intimidation, showing off their advanced technology, imposing harsh conditions in the prison, and threatening harm to the human or their loved ones. They aim to make the human feel utterly powerless, convincing them that there is no way out of their situation. They believe that fear will quickly make the human surrender or cooperate, whether that means giving up valuable information or simply accepting their fate as prisoners of the alien empire. The alien jailers also employ physical discomfort as a tactic to weaken the human spirit. The prison is equipped with advanced restraints, temperature controls, and pain-inducing devices that are intended to break down the human's resistance. The aliens believe that torture, whether psychological or physical, will force the human to reveal secrets, provide information, or give up any hope of escape. They believe that the human's technological inferiority and lack of intergalactic experience make them susceptible to such tactics. But despite all of this, the human proves to be far more resilient than the aliens anticipate. While the human might experience fear and doubt, they do not easily bend. Each psychological tactic that the aliens use, from fear of punishment to the threat of execution, fails to make the human surrender. Instead of cowering, the human adapts to the situation. They stand strong and refuse to give the aliens what they want. Their mental fortitude begins to frustrate the captors, who are used to breaking weaker species far more easily. The aliens, confident in their methods, do not expect the human spirit to withstand such pressure. But the more they push, the more they encounter a surprising resistance: humanity's stubbornness. Even in the face of brutal intimidation, humans refuse to accept defeat. The alien captors begin to realize that their tactics are not working. They are baffled by the humans' unwavering will and find themselves unable to break their prisoner, even though they have exploited every psychological tool at their disposal. This first encounter with humanity's resilience marks the beginning of a realization for the alien species: humans are not easily intimidated. The alien captors have made the fatal mistake of underestimating the true strength of the human spirit. As each attempt to break the human fails, the captors' confidence begins to falter, setting the stage for the human to use their resilience as a weapon against their captors. What the aliens saw as an opportunity for easy subjugation is about to turn into a psychological battle they are ill-prepared for. The alien captors, who initially believed that humanity was a weak and easily intimidated species, soon find themselves confronted with the surprising strength of the human spirit. Each attempt to break the human's resolve backfires, and the aliens begin to realize they have made a critical mistake. They underestimated the resilience and mental toughness of their prisoner. The human, although physically confined in an advanced prison system and surrounded by alien technology designed to suppress and intimidate them, refuses to be cowed. The alien species, accustomed to dealing with civilizations that break under pressure or fear, are stunned by the human's ability to adapt and resist. They had assumed that the human would quickly succumb to the pressure, but instead, the human is finding ways to turn the tables, using their environment and the alien captors' own tactics against them. The human begins to outsmart the alien captors, learning the patterns of their behavior and exploiting small weaknesses in their prison's security systems. While the aliens focus on their advanced technology and overwhelming force, the human uses simple ingenuity to slowly begin to take control of their circumstances. The alien jailers, focused on the idea that they could intimidate the human with their technology and superior power, never considered that humans might rely on their wits and sheer determination to survive. A key turning point occurs when the human begins to manipulate the psychological tools the aliens were using to break them. Instead of succumbing to fear or doubt, the human starts to adapt their mindset, recognizing that the aliens rely too heavily on their advanced technology and power, which can be undone by human ingenuity. The human prisoner's mental strength allows them to turn the alien tactics, which were meant to intimidate and break them, into tools of resistance. The human might use small acts of defiance to gain an upper hand, such as using knowledge of the alien technology to break out of restraints, communicating secretly with fellow prisoners, or sowing disruption within the alien prison by causing minor technical failures. What the aliens did not count on was the resourcefulness and adaptability that humanity shows in even the most difficult circumstances. What begins as a series of minor victories against their captors grows into a psychological shift in the prison. The human's refusal to be broken makes the alien captors question their assumptions. The fear and intimidation tactics that had been their go-to tools of control are now being undermined by the human's resilience and resourcefulness. The aliens had expected a prisoner who would bend, break, and comply, but they are now faced with a prisoner who won't break, no matter the tactics employed. This realization shakes the alien captors, who, for the first time, are forced to confront the fact that humanity's greatest strength lies in their resilience and adaptability, qualities that technology cannot suppress. The aliens begin to see that, unlike other species they've encountered, humans cannot be easily manipulated or cowed. Instead, the human prisoner's determination becomes a symbol of defiance, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. The alien captors may have more advanced technology, but they have underestimated what makes humanity so incredibly dangerous: their spirit and will to survive. As the human prisoner continues to resist the alien captor's attempts to break their spirit, the aliens intensify their hostile tactics, using increasingly brutal methods in an effort to force compliance. The alien species, whose previous efforts to intimidate and psychologically manipulate the human have failed, now turn to their tried and tested methods of fear and coercion. They believe that if they push harder, through physical threats, psychological manipulation, and exploitation of human weaknesses, they can finally crush the human's will to resist. The first line of attack is the escalation of fear tactics. The aliens begin by threatening the human with greater violence, showing off their advanced weaponry and reminders of their superior power. They use intimidation as their primary tool, attempting to make the human feel small and insignificant in comparison to their overwhelming strength. The human is subjected to visual and auditory threats, alien torture devices, aggressive displays of power, and the constant pressure of being surrounded by an unknown and terrifying force. The aliens want to show that they are the dominant species in the galaxy, and that defiance will only lead to pain and suffering. In addition to physical threats, the aliens use psychological manipulation to increase the human's sense of helplessness. They attempt to undermine the human's confidence by spreading lies and misinformation. They plant seeds of doubt in the human's mind, trying to make them believe that no one is coming to rescue them, that Earth has already abandoned them, or that their loved ones will suffer as a result of their actions. The aliens might try to offer false promises, appealing to the human's emotions or playing on their worst fears. They may even try to exploit the human's loyalty to their mission or their people, suggesting that surrendering would save lives or prevent further suffering. To push the human further, the aliens might subject them to mental and emotional isolation, locking them in dark, solitary confinement to make them feel even more vulnerable. Physical discomfort becomes a key tool as well, with the aliens utilizing torture to extract information or simply break the human's resolve. They might use pain-inducing technologies, mind-altering drugs, or sensory deprivation in an attempt to reduce the human to a state of submission. The aliens believe that these tactics will force the human into compliance, that fear and pain will compel the human to surrender. Yet, what they fail to realize is that the more they apply these brutal methods, the more they fuel the human's defiance. Every threat, every torture session, every attempt to break the human's spirit only serves to reinforce the human's inner strength. The more aggressive and manipulative the alien tactics become, the more the human understands that their captors have no power over them except the fear they can create. Despite all the alien attempts to manipulate and intimidate, the human does not succumb. Instead of giving in to the fear, the human starts to control the situation. They begin using the psychological manipulation against the aliens, feeding them false information, playing on their insecurities, and using the alien captor's own tactics of intimidation to create confusion and paranoia within their ranks. The human becomes a master manipulator, twisting the aliens' power dynamic to their advantage. This turn of events is a direct challenge to the alien captor's assumptions. They believed they had the upper hand with their tactics of fear and manipulation, but the humans' refusal to break reveals a critical flaw: their inability to comprehend the resilience of the human spirit. Instead of quashing the human's will, the aliens have only empowered them, setting the stage for the human to turn the tide and shift the balance of power back in their favor. After weeks of psychological and physical torment, the human prisoner, unbroken and resilient, begins to turn the tables on their captors. The alien species, confident that their methods of fear and manipulation have subdued their prisoner, find themselves caught off guard when the human begins to exploit the very tactics used against them. The human strength lies not just in enduring the alien torment but in their ability to adapt and outsmart their captors, using their resilience as a weapon. The human, having studied the alien tactics closely, begins to understand their captors' weaknesses, both psychological and strategic. The aliens are used to using fear to maintain control, but they have underestimated the human's ability to use fear itself to gain leverage. The humans start subtly planting ideas of paranoia within the alien ranks, causing mistrust and confusion. By making small, calculated suggestions, the human creates doubt in the minds of the aliens, leading them to question each other's intentions and decisions. What was once a tightly controlled environment begins to unravel as the alien captors fall into their own traps. Instead of cowering under threats, the human begins to manipulate the prison's high-tech security systems. The advanced alien technology that was intended to keep them confined becomes an instrument of resistance. The human uses their limited access to the alien infrastructure to disrupt communication, causing delays in alien operations, short-circuiting devices, and creating diversions that allow them to gather more information about their captors. With every small victory, the human gains confidence and grows bolder. The psychological warfare that the aliens employed to break the human has now become their downfall. The human, realizing that the aliens view them as weak and vulnerable, begins to play on their captors' misconceptions. They fake submission, pretending to comply with the alien demands and pretending to break under pressure, all the while gathering information and preparing to strike back at the perfect moment. The human's ability to feign weakness while secretly preparing for a counterattack begins to undermine the aliens' confidence. What the aliens don't realize is that the human has been planning their escape, carefully observing their surroundings, and using their knowledge of alien psychology to manipulate them into a false sense of security. In a dramatic shift, the human uses the aliens' own tactics against them. The captors, who had once relied on their superior technology and psychological pressure, now find themselves ensnared in their own webs of manipulation. The humans' unpredictability and resourcefulness turn the tables, and instead of being broken, they have now become the one controlling the situation. The alien captors are no longer in charge. They are being played by the very person they thought they had imprisoned. This turn of events forces the aliens to rethink their entire approach. What they assumed was a simple case of subjugation now becomes a battle of wits. The human has proven that their mental resilience, adaptability, and refusal to be broken are more powerful than the aliens' weapons and technology. As the human outmaneuvers their captors and turns their methods of control against them, the alien species begins to experience the humiliation of realizing that they underestimated their prisoner. The alien captors, once confident in their superiority, are now left in chaos, facing a situation they did not anticipate. The human, with their ability to adapt and resist, has turned the tide in their favor, setting the stage for the next phase of their struggle: escape, revenge, or even freedom. As the human continues to outmaneuver their alien captors, the situation spirals out of control for the alien species. What began as a simple attempt to intimidate and break the human into submission has now backfired spectacularly. The aliens, once confident in their technological superiority and psychological tactics, begin to realize that their underestimation of humanity has turned into their greatest downfall. The human prisoner, with their resourcefulness and mental fortitude, has turned the tables entirely. Their ability to manipulate the alien captors' fear and paranoia has created a sense of confusion within the alien ranks. The once confident alien jailers begin to question their own authority and decisions. The control they thought they had over the human prisoner is now slipping away. Their fear-based tactics, which were supposed to be a way of breaking the human, have instead allowed the prisoner to sow discord within the ranks of their captors. The alien species begins to feel the weight of their mistake. They had assumed that humanity, with its limited technology and primitive ways, would be easy to control. Instead, the human has proven to be resourceful, strategic, and mentally unbreakable. The alien forces, having relied on their superior technology and their ability to instill fear, now realize that they've created the conditions for their own downfall. Fear, which was meant to be their greatest weapon, has now been turned against them. In their attempts to dominate the human, they have inadvertently given the human prisoner a psychological foothold. The human, once believed to be an insignificant, powerless being, is now playing the aliens at their own game. The alien captors, who once saw the human as a mere prisoner to be controlled, are now facing the reality that they have been manipulated and outsmarted at every turn. The once feared alien species finds itself dealing with a prisoner who has not only survived but is now in a position to escape, causing chaos within their own ranks. The alien species begins to fracture under the pressure. Internal tensions rise as the fear of the humans' influence spreads through the ranks. The alien guards and commanders, once confident in their power, begin to question their own decisions, some even starting to fear the human. What was once an isolated incident of prisoner interrogation has now spiraled into a psychological war, with the alien captors losing their grip on control. The humiliation is unbearable for the aliens. What they had thought would be a simple mission of subduing an inferior species has turned into a nightmare. Their own tactics of fear and intimidation, which had worked on so many other species, have proven to be ineffective against a human being who refuses to break. The alien captors, now distrustful of their own power, realize that they have severely misjudged humanity. They have failed to break the human spirit, and their overconfidence has led them into a situation where they are now facing defeat at the hands of their own prisoner. This realization, though humiliating, also marks a crucial turning point. The alien species must now confront the reality that humanity's resilience and mental strength cannot be easily overcome, and their once unchallenged superiority has been shattered. This moment of self-reflection is the beginning of the collapse of the alien force's control over the human prisoner, and it sets the stage for the human to take full advantage of their captor's weakness. As the alien's own psychological grip slips, the human prisoner begins to seize control of the situation, leading to the ultimate escape, or perhaps a reversal of power that leaves the aliens questioning their entire approach to dealing with humanity. With the alien captor's control weakening and their confidence shattered, the human prisoner now takes full advantage of the situation, finally turning the tables on their captors. The once impenetrable high-security alien prison has been shaken from the inside, and the human, whose spirit had remained unbroken, begins to orchestrate their escape, or their ultimate victory. The alien species, so sure of their superiority, are now scrambling to hold on to whatever control they have left, but it's clear that they have underestimated their prisoner at every turn. Having spent weeks, perhaps months, carefully observing the alien prison, studying their captors' tactics, and gaining insights into the alien technology and psychological vulnerabilities, the human now makes their move. Every bit of information they've gathered, every piece of alien technology they've learned to manipulate, and every psychological weakness they've exposed within the alien ranks is about to be used to their advantage. The human has gone from a prisoner to a master strategist, using their intellect and the alien fear tactics against them. At the right moment, when the alien captors are at their most vulnerable, the human begins to disrupt the prison's systems. They hack into the prison's security network, overriding the alien technology that once held them captive. The once impregnable barriers, security protocols, and containment systems that were designed to keep them imprisoned begin to fail as the human expertly manipulates the systems with a mix of alien tech and human ingenuity. The alien guards, once unshakable in their power, are now bewildered. They've spent so much time trying to break the human's body and spirit, but they'd failed to notice the one thing they couldn't control: the human's intelligence and ability to adapt. The human, instead of fighting back directly with brute force, has been quietly turning the tables, using their knowledge and resourcefulness to create a situation where the aliens no longer have control. As the human takes control of the situation, they might use their newfound power to escape the prison, unlocking doors, disabling alien technology, and escaping into the vastness of space or directly attacking their captors with the alien weaponry they've learned to master. Alternatively, the human may decide to fight back in a more symbolic way, destroying or disabling the alien infrastructure, proving that the alien captors are not infallible and that the human is now in charge of the situation. The human's victory doesn't just come from breaking free, it's about reclaiming control of their fate. The aliens thought they could easily subdue a single human, but in their overconfidence, they have made a catastrophic mistake. What was meant to be a routine imprisonment has become a turning point in the struggle for freedom. This escape or victory marks a turning point in the conflict. The human has proven not only their physical resilience but also their strategic brilliance and mental strength. What started as a desperate struggle for survival has now turned into a moment of empowerment, not just for the human, but for all of humanity. The aliens, once sure of their ability to control humanity, are now left questioning everything they thought they knew about Earth and its inhabitants. The human, having outsmarted their captors, is now in a position of power. Their victory isn't just personal, it's a statement that no matter how advanced or ruthless an alien species may be, humanity's resilience, resourcefulness, and refusal to break are forces to be reckoned with. Whether the human escapes the prison or delivers a symbolic victory by turning the alien captors' weapons against them, the outcome is clear. The human has defied all expectations and shown that humans are not to be underestimated, not in the galaxy, and not in the face of any enemy. In the aftermath of the human's escape or ultimate victory, the alien captors are left reeling from the shock and humiliation of having underestimated their prisoner. The once omnipotent alien species, who had believed that they could crush any resistance from a primitive, technologically inferior race, are now forced to confront the reality that their tactics, their technology, and their arrogance were not enough to defeat humanity. The prisoner they had written off as a helpless, insignificant being has turned out to be their greatest challenge, one they couldn't control. The alien species, which had viewed Earth and its inhabitants as easy targets, now begins to question their entire approach to dealing with humanity. Their assumption that humanity's weakness could be exploited has proven to be a massive miscalculation. They had based their entire strategy on the idea that humans could be intimidated into submission, but the humans' refusal to break, their intelligence, and their resilience have shattered that belief. The alien species must now reckon with the fact that humans are not like the other species they have conquered in the past. Earth's greatest strength doesn't lie in its technology, but in its unwavering will, resourcefulness, and spirit. The aftermath of this stunning turn of events ripples through the alien ranks. The alien leadership, which had been so sure of their technological and military superiority, now begins to see the cost of their failure to understand humanity. Their arrogance has led them into a situation where their own captives turned into their greatest threat. The humiliation they feel is not just personal, it's cultural. For an entire species that had prided itself on dominating and subjugating others, this defeat has exposed a glaring weakness. They had never truly understood their enemy, and their overconfidence had blinded them to the power of human determination. The alien captors, who had once believed their advanced weaponry and psychological manipulation would easily control the human, are now faced with the knowledge that no amount of technology or fear can break a spirit that refuses to yield. Humanity's mental resilience has become a symbol of defiance, a testament to the strength of human character. The alien species now faces the realization that humanity's resolve cannot be broken, and that their strength lies in their ability to endure and outthink their enemies, even against overwhelming odds. The consequences of their underestimation are clear. Humanity cannot be dominated by brute force alone. The alien species must now consider humanity a far more formidable adversary than they had ever imagined. The human victory sends a shockwave through the alien empire, forcing them to reassess their entire approach to intergalactic politics and conflict. For the first time, they realize that humans may be the species they have to fear, not just in physical combat but in the intellectual and psychological battles as well. In the end, the alien species learns the hardest lesson, that humans should never be underestimated. The human prisoner's defiance becomes a legend that spreads throughout the galaxy, teaching all who hear it that resilience, resourcefulness, and unwavering will are the most dangerous weapons of all. What began as an attempt to break the human spirit has now turned into a lesson that the alien species will never forget. The true cost of their arrogance was the humiliation of underestimating humanity. The human's victory serves as a cautionary tale for any who may think to conquer Earth in the future. The human spirit is not easily broken, and those who attempt to crush it may find themselves crushed instead.